garden in a somewhat tidied greenhouse. I've had a really productive morning on the plot, which we will have seen in the first part of this video, and had lunch and come back to the home garden. And started having a clear of the greenhouse so I can actually move in here. And I've got a series of jobs that I want to get done this afternoon, and it is turning out to be an enormously productive day. Right, let's shut the dog up and then see what we do as our first home job. That probably doesn't look like an enormous difference to you, but actually having this section clear is lovely. It means I can actually get to my potting bench, by which I mean old dog bed. So there's plenty of stuff still in here doing its thing. There's been some nibbling. So 3 kales have disappeared. Oh, and one has had a little nibble here. But these ones are okay. All okay. This is coriander. I still haven't thinned these lettuces. Nigella, the meteor peas that had poor germination. Spinach, cauliflowers, cabbages, broccolis, kales, more kales. So I have got plenty of kales. Onions and honey garlic and aquilegias, more kales, and beetroots and Florence fennel, spring onions, more kales, celery. The other thing I wanted to show you is how well it's actually getting a bit warm in here. I can take this out. How well the comfrey crowns took. So really chuffed with those. Yeah, they are looking a little bit wilty right now, but they were fine earlier today. So let's take them out and put them for a little drink. But the garden's looking lovely. There's colour. There we go. Look, colour, and things are bursting into life, or about to. And here's all the spring bulbs in here. These are close. I'm not even sure what they are. I did see one that looks parroty. So it's really nice to see things getting going in the garden now, and I'm preparing things as well. Something else I've done since I've been back, as well as doing some clearing up, is covering these 2 beds. So these are my tallest raised beds, and I'm just warming up the soil in the centre there, because this is where I'm going to grow my carrots this year, and I'm looking forward to sowing those. Now, several reasons why I'm going to grow carrots in these beds. Because they're taller, and carrot fly can't fly too tall, although I don't think this is actually quite tall enough to deter them. But there's an additional barrier, which is onions and garlic around the edge, so they're to confuse the carroty smell. And the other reason is that the soil in here was quite fine, so I think it should make a really good carrot bed. There are clematis either side of the archways. There was also passion flower, passiflora on either side, but I don't think they've made it through the winter, so there'll be something that can be grown there and to go up the arch. But what I want to do is bring you to the back of the garden, which is still the mess that it was when I brought you up here to do the apple tree. There's the apple tree, doing rather well. See that? There we go. So it's alive. That's all I ask for. Leaf mould bin, bamboo shoot bin, blueberries and honeyberries are all doing great. Lots of nice foliage. Look at the blossoms ready to come on the blueberries. All my cockiness about knowing how to keep heathers alive clearly was not well placed, so might have to lift that one out. But yeah, this is all still a terrible mess, and at some point I will work out what I'm going to do with all this stuff and clear it. Pallets probably will go down to the allotment to make up the new compost bays. These big sheets were from my mum's old conservatory. I've used some of them to make the door and plug some bits of the greenhouse, but they're really good big sheets of plastic, polycarbonate is it called, but yeah, I have to find something to do with those. Otherwise down here, gooseberries are both doing lovely. Tiny cabbage, red cabbage that did nothing yet last year and yet continues to grow. This is the goji berry, so you saw me plant one on the allotment earlier. There's the one in the home garden. Rhubarb's looking great. I forced this rhubarb last year, so I'm not forcing it this year, so it's just doing its thing. This is the josterberry, which is also looking super. There are two more. There's one there and one there. Two more rhubarbs, but they're still babies. Some random onions that have survived in this bed. What looks like a foxglove. And then this bed is my Jerusalem artichoke one. So you can see that it's shady. It's got all this canopy. Hello, birds. Aww. Shading it. So we'll see how the Jerusalem artichokes do this year. But what did do well was this tree cabbage. In fact, spectacular. I lost the carrot beds that I was just showing you actually had one in each, and they did not survive the winter. But this one in this more sheltered spot has done wonderfully. But you can see it's just starting to flower, to create its flower head. And what you need to do is pinch that out. So it will keep growing. And now I'm going to eat that. Lovely. So, back of the garden, this bed of 4 mini beds, and then I have this section, which is very much a dead section. It was just weeds, and it had a goat willow. The goat willow is gone. That was part of the trees that I took out. So the little decorative beehive is in that spot now, expertly constructed by my sister's partner, made by Mark. I had it buried, well, it got buried in honeysuckle, so it took a battering and it needs a few repairs, but it's still standing, it's good. I have to think of a use for it, but mostly I just let the animals live in it. Anyway, this was a wasted space, and when I made this pallet bed, and yes, I made that, it took my life into my own hands when I made that thing, but I did it, and I was going to make 2 to have either side where the carrot beds are. I was making my own. I made 1 and thought I am never ever doing that again, so I had this odd one when I had the other 2 constructed. So I put it here. As I say, it was just weeds, and actually there was blue plastic under here as well, most of which I got up, but some is still under the root of this goat willow here. You can see I've arranged this bed with mint. So last year I put lettuce, rocket, tree spinach, all sorts of things in it, radishes. In fact, you can see some remnants of things that were in here. That looks radishy, or maybe even turnipy. But this particular bed was the favourite bed of the foxes. The foxes absolutely went mad for this raised bed. It was their favourite place to play at night. I hopefully will be able to share the footage of them being incredibly destructive on this bed, but also incredibly cute. The way in which I eventually got the foxes to stop playing on this bed was to add spiky material across the top of the crops. Oh, rocket. I planted lots of rocket in there. I eventually did get some rocket when the foxes realised that they would get thorns in their paws if they kept playing on it. Sorry, foxes. So this year, I suspect the foxes will be back and wanting their playpen back. So I'm going to plant it with mint, because mint is pretty indestructible. Plus, I don't think foxes will enjoy playing in mint. I don't think they'll like the smell. And I will also use some of this material that I've kept to protect them. You can see that I have rather a mint obsession. I'm not sure when this started. I drink tea all the time, and I like mint tea. So getting different flavoured mint teas was fun, and then became obsessive. So I've got things like pineapple mint and lemon and orange mint, lime mint, pineapple mint, did I say that already? Strawberry mint, different mints like peppermint, spearmint, chocolate mint, ginger mint, which was my absolute favourite, and yet the one that didn't look like it was coming back. Oh, I think I see a bit now. It's just taking its time. Now, some people say not to plant your mints all together because they'll just all end up smelling the same. But there was a mint guy on Gardener's World once, and he had all his together, and he was a mint guy. So he should know. So yeah, I'm just going for it. Now, this little raised bed here is an old drawer. And I did try and grow spinach and coriander in that. Again, it's very shady, but that's kind of good for that because you don't want it to bolt. But it just didn't do well. What I'm thinking is this was where the Jerusalem artichoke, no, this is where the horseradish can go. Because everything in here is allowed to just go mad, really. The mint is invasive, that can go mad. I've got loads of red vein sorrel. That can go mad. I already put the other bulbs of the three-cornered leek in here. That can go mad. Horseradish can go mad. And, really exciting, have a look at this. I have wild garlic growing back here. Which I am super pleased about. That didn't just magically appear. I did sow some wild garlic. I didn't think it'd done anything, but here it is this year. So that's, yeah, I'm really excited about that. And aquilesias all here, and then the Jerusalem artichokes are this side. So I'm just seeing this as the like invasive area of the garden, where if something wants to be invasive, it can. Above it is jasmine, which also goes a bit mad, and but is lovely, and I use that for tea and for decorating cakes and things as well. On the other side, you can see there's more red vein sorrel, etc. Oh, and pot marjoram. Oh, and look, little wild violets. That's nice. I think that's what those are. Oh, what's that? Looks lettucey. But don't eat something just because it looks lettucey, Kerry. Okay, so first job is to plant up this mint bed. That was a really long way of getting round to that point. Sorry. Okay. Do I want to top it up with some soil? I don't really, because mint doesn't need nice rich soil, but it has, the level of the soil has gone down a bit, so I might just use, you see my old wardrobe along here, grew carrots in there and all sorts of other things, cauliflowers, etc. It's been really useful. Liam, my partner, said it would collapse in the first year, but this will be its third year and it's still going strong. It's just full of old compost that has come from pots like the potatoes and things like that. So I think I'll move some of that into the bed, put the mint in, take the spiky stuff off that one, and put the horseradish in there. And I had 3 Jerusalem artichokes left that didn't go into the allotment, so they can go into the Jerusalem artichoke bed. Okay, you happy with that plan, Dory? Yeah? You've been a good girl today. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Well, the birds seem to enjoy that I was working on that bed. Hopefully the foxes won't enjoy it. Here's the finished bed. I was quite ruthless with some of these mints that were quite pot bound and in the bigger pots, so I divided them up and I've got some to pot on now as well, but I've tried to keep my labels all in, but then they won't be the best labels because they will decompose, so I'll have to replace them with some better labels. But we have berries and cream, Korean licorice mint, Japanese mint abora, after 8 mint, chocolate mint, Granada orange mint, blackcurrant mint, strawberry mint, apple mint, lemon, Jessica sweet pear. In the corner is the pineapple. Then we've got lime mint there, and black peppermint there, and finally in the corner is the ginger mint, which did have some growth but was massively pot bound. I think the thing with mint is that when it's in a pot or in the ground, it spreads from the middle, and then the new shoots come up at the edges. So you end up with nothing in the middle and all the growth around the edge. So when it's in a pot and it gets root bound, then it's obviously not so happy. So when I divided them up, I kind of took the centre out and have planted bits from around the edge of the pot. I think that's how it works. But yeah, pretty pleased with that. They've been sitting around this bed and then arranged on the bed in the pots for quite some time, so it's nice to get them in the ground. I'll water those in and let the birds go to town on trying to find worms in the compost. I'm going to go to this side of the beehive and clear all of this thistly stuff, so I need my big gloves on, and then put the horseradish into there. Well, that was great. I made up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 more mint plants. I think they'll be going as gifts, unless any in the bed fail. I had one final job for today, which was a big job to clear the Phacelia cover crop on the front garden. Yes, somebody's ready for their dinner, and plant the strawberries out there, but that is quite a big job. It's gone 5 o'clock. Yeah, I know, Dory. I think we both had it. It's time for a walk and somebody's dinner. But I do just want to do one last job. Just squeeze another one in. Yeah, just one more. Just one more. Yeah? If I do this one last job, you can eat your dinner, and then we'll go for a walk. Does it sound good? Good plan? Okay. Good girl. Good girl. She has no idea what I'm saying. In terms of the last job, I want to plant up the houseplant basket that I got in the January sale. I'm a bit worried this calathea is not enjoying being in the basket anymore. Actually, it's done superbly. This peace lily type thing is getting a bit crunchy. This looks fine, the little fern, and I never did discover what this was. I've already potted up the peace lily because that was looking sad, and is now looking fine. And the begonia, I don't know, I might try, I don't know if this is a bulby begonia, so I might see what's under there. So I'll just make Dory's dinner and then I'll be right back, and this is last job of the day. Well, clearly it is time to call it day done because I just deleted everything I recorded. So, but I did, I planted up the houseplants from the basket. They're just being watered, and then they'll go into the house. But yeah, they look good, they look fine. So fingers crossed that transplant won't shock them too much, and they'll be happy in their own little pots. That was a hugely productive day, way more than I could have anticipated. I had an ambitious list that I wanted to get through. I didn't quite get to the Phacelia and the strawberries, but nevertheless, yeah, that was probably being a little over ambitious. So really happy with what I've achieved today, especially down at the plot. I don't know if I'll be releasing this as a part 1 and part 2 because it's probably got quite long. But however you have experienced my Sunday, thank you very much for coming along with me, and I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you next week for potentially Phacelia cover crop cutting down and strawberries. How many weeks have I been saying I need to do these strawberries? Next week it will be done. Okay, the dog is fed and is now lazing in the sun, so I'll go rouse her for her walk, and yeah, I think dinner and bath, maybe a glass of wine.